Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to automatically calculate the distance in miles on the shoe when an activity with a shoe is created. So we're probably going to do a lot of the same stuff we did to do that with totals. So let me just close a lot of this out. But so let's think about this. I want to get our data set up here. So we have confirm user with shoes. We have this guy. But I also want to, the data I have for that already has miles on it, and I kind of want to start from scratch. So let's see. I guess I can just set this to 0, and for this I'll do 500. That shouldn't affect our tests. But this person has no activities, which is good because we want to kind of start from a blank slate. So let's go into our, I think we'd want to do it in our activity test. I think, right? Yeah, okay, so that's what we're doing it. So for consistency's sake, I'll do it in the activity test. So should update associated shoes distance in miles value when activity is created or updated. It's kind of a long test name. So let's see here. So we have to get our user. So user equals users, and then we'll get this guy right here, and then we'll do shoe equals user dot shoes dot first. Gotta make sure this will actually matter later, the retired value, but since it's false, it's all good. And let's do activity equals user dot activity dot we'll do dot create, and then let's see here. So we want to do the distance was, let's just do 10. Unit was miles. Shoe was shoe. Let me drop in a by bug here because I want to make sure that this is valid. Rails T test models activity, and let's just go to line 144. Okay, so what did I do here? Oh, activities, plural. Try that again. Can't write unknown attribute, activity ID. 147, user dot activities dot create. Okay, so it looks like it doesn't like this right here, which I'm kind of confused about. Activity, yeah, it has one shoe, and for shoe, it belongs to an activity. So I don't know. Let me put the by bug up here. So let me just see if shoe is returning a shoe. Okay, it is. And then let me just do like activity. So I get shoe ID. So that's fine. But if I go in here and if I do activities, if I just copy this in here, active model, missing attribute, can't write unknown attribute, activity ID. I must have something wrong up here. So a shoe belongs to an activity. Let's check this out. So shoes. Oh, maybe I have it flipped. Because the shoe has a column for the user. It doesn't have a column for the activity. Maybe that's my problem. Or do I need a join table? Because a shoe can be on different activities. No, but an activity would only have one shoe. You may have this flipped. Let's go into activity. Belongs to shoe, optional true, and a shoe has many activities. Let's give that a shot. Okay, actually, did I get to that line? I did not, because the buy bug is still in the wrong place. Okay, and then if I do, I think that fixed it. Okay, one more time. Let's just get this in here. Clear that out, run the test. So we got activity.shoe. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. Activity.shoe dot activities. All right, so fix that in a second, but that's basically that's saving. So now I want to do assert equal. All that work was just to get to the actual assertion, but assert equal, we want to say that the shoe, we want to reload it, dot distance in miles, it should be 10 now. Now this should fail because we haven't done anything to make that happen. Cool, so it's that. So now we have a place to work backwards from. And if we go into, actually, you know what, quickly run the whole test suite. I want to make sure what I did a few seconds ago with the associations didn't break anything. Okay, so that's good. Let's go into our activity. Where's our, so after save, let's just copy this. After save will be update shoe distance in miles. Let's just do that. And this will do on update and create. We don't have this method. Let's go down here and let's see. So what do we need to do? Total distance. I think we can just get this, right? So activities. Oh, but the activity here, so this is a little different. So we want to get activity where, basically where the shoe exists. So where the shoe is self dot shoe if or unless self dot shoe is nil. So this should get all activities that have this shoe, as long as we actually have a shoe on the activity. And then what we can do is same logic as up here, but we can just sum up the distance in miles, and that would be total distance. And then we should be able to do shoe equals, well, now we can, maybe we can even just wrap this in the whole thing in this, because it's not going to matter if they don't have a shoe. So let's do that, and then we can do self.shoe.activity update. Then we can just do distance in miles and total distance. I think that should do it. Let's think this out. So we're gonna get all the activities that also that are assigned to this particular shoe. Save it to this variable, and then what we'll do is we'll sum up the distance in miles that's on all these activities, as long as this is returning something. Save that to a variable, and then we'll just update the shoe. And then in this case, this also has the same column name of distance in miles, and then we can do that. So I think that should work. Let's go up a few, go to that test. Interesting, so that did not work. Update shoe distance in miles, so we are calling it, I'm gonna throw a ByBug in here. Make sure that it's actually getting called. So this isn't even getting called. Update shoe distance in miles, right? That's not getting called. After save, this is the same thing, right? Like I called it the same thing. So what's the problem here? User.activities.create. Let's go in here and actually let's throw a ByBug in here, because I'm wondering if the activity is not valid and then it's not getting saved. So let's just do activity.valid. Oh, okay. Errors, messages, date. Oh, there we go. Date, time dot zone dot now. That's kind of a pain in the butt. It's all good though. So let's just go back to activity. Let's make sure that ByBug is still in there. Undefined method. Interesting. Activity, line 55. What's happening on line 55? Oh, interesting. I should actually, it's funny, this caught a different problem. So if this is, we need to actually do, so you can only calculate a pace if there's a duration and a distance in miles, and I only added we only have distance in miles but no duration, so actually I gotta go ahead and do this. So that's interesting. We caught another problem with this one test. So that's a good reason to write tests in general. Okay, finally we're getting to this method here, so this is good. We have that, so that's actually getting called. Let's go to the test, or let's get rid of this ByBug. Sorry, I know I'm jumping all over the place here. And let's go ahead and run this. Does it actually work? Will it pass? All right, cool. So that worked. So let's just commit all this. And let's just say calculate issues distance in miles when creating or updating an activity. And then we can also say fix calculate pace method. All right, let's push this up. And the only other thing we want to do is pretty much copy this, but we want to just update the distance in miles when an activity is deleted. So should update associated shoes distance in miles when value when activity is destroyed. So let's go in here and I just want to think of the best way to do this. So probably keep most of the same stuff. We should do activity.destroy. And let's keep the test the way it is now, because, well, actually no, we want to make this 0. let's clear that out. Run this test, which is on line 152. This should fail because it should still be 10. Okay, so that's good. If we go to the activity, activity RB, I think we can just do after destroy. I think that should work. Hope that works. Nil. Oh, interesting. Okay. Now, how did that happen? Oh, it's because this returned 0. So, and we can't have a nil value. So let's think about this. Or I guess we can have a nil value. Not sure. So shoe.update total distance. You know, I'm actually going to drop a bybug in here. So I'm guessing it's because, oh, that's interesting. Oh, it's because this is getting called a few times. So I'm going to drop the bybug in here. And then if we do user.activities.count, it should be 0, which means if we do user.activities and then just this, it's going to return nil. Oh, interesting. So no, it returned the right thing. Okay, you might have seen it, but I didn't. So the problem here is this is actually working. This returns 0.0. The problem is this is not returning anything because I don't have any activities, and therefore this total distance is going to return nil. But I think I'm actually okay to remove this. So I'm going to go ahead, clear this out, and let me just make sure I don't have any more bybugs in here. And I think that's going to be 0.0. Let's run that test again. Okay, cool, that worked. So yeah, that was just an issue of this was doing the right thing. It's just that I had this conditional in here, and because in that test case, this was returning nothing because all my activities were destroyed because that user only had one activity. And since this conditional was returning true, it basically meant like total distance was set to nil and not the return value of that. So that was kind of hard to track down, but it was good nonetheless to figure it out. Let's just run the test suite real quick. Awesome. And let's just commit all this. So git add all, git commit. I'll just say calculate, a shoe's distance in miles value when an activity is destroyed. And we'll push that up.